Hey guys, Harper and I have come out to the park in La Presa, one of our favorite places. And I wanted to talk to you about where I'm at with learning Spanish. Okay. Let me just jump into the story. So most of you know that when I moved to Mexico last summer, I knew nothing. No Spanish, zero Spanish. I had tried when we were in Charlotte in the time leading up to our move. I had tried to learn Spanish on my own with like books and podcasts and everything, and I just couldn't retain anything that I learned because I had no opportunity to practice it. So when we got to San Miguel, I couldn't even properly order food at a restaurant. Jesse had more Spanish than I did. He had learned Spanish from his mom and had taken it in high school and college, but he was still very rusty, so we really struggled. Fortunately, we were in San Miguel de Allende, and there's enough English speakers there to kind of help us out, help us figure things out. So I started watching Jim and Mai's channel, Spanish and Go, and that helped a lot. I took 1 week of Spanish at a school in San Miguel, but I didn't start making real progress until we came to Guanajuato, and I took a month of intensive Spanish lessons. So it was 4 hours a day, one-on-one instruction. It was amazing. I had the best teachers. I'll link the video that I made about that school. It was Escuela de Idiomas here in Guanajuato. It's right behind the university, and I believe that it's connected in some way to University of Guanajuato. Focus, please. Okay. Started with 0. By the time we left Mexico, I was feeling like really confident in my Spanish. Now, I still, knew very little and had a long way to go, but compared to where I was just like, yes, okay, things are happening. I'm starting to understand things. I'm starting to be able to speak in sentences instead of just like these broken fragments. We went to Costa Rica. I felt good. We went to the United States for the holidays, and I still felt like pretty confident in things, but I went about a month with the time in Costa Rica and the time in the United States. I went about a month of not using very much Spanish. Going from Guanajuato City, where I use Spanish every single day, to Costa Rica, where it was kind of like 50-50. Sometimes we used it, sometimes we didn't need to going to the States, where it was just zero, nada. When we came back to Mexico, it was a rough transition for me getting back into Spanish. I felt like I had lost a lot of ground. Yeah, so coming back, I really struggled. And there was this moment, this kind of like pivotal moment. I was out filming, and I had stopped in the Jardín right in front of the theater, and I met a subscriber, and he was speaking to me in Spanish, and everything was just happening very quickly, and I literally just stood there and I felt like all the Spanish words I could not keep up. I could not understand. I tried to reach for my Spanish and say something, and it just wasn't there. And the more flustered I became, the harder it got to get the words, which made me more flustered, and it was just this terrible cycle. I was so embarrassed, and I felt so disappointed in myself that I couldn't speak with him in intelligible Spanish. And that marked a point at which I started to get really discouraged. The more discouraged I became, the less I wanted to speak. I would actually, and even though I knew that this was the worst thing that I could do, I would go out of my way to avoid speaking Spanish. I would avoid situations where I knew I had to speak Spanish because I was scared. and I was embarrassed, and I felt like I was letting my teachers down. I felt like I should be further along than I was. I just felt horrible about it. Anytime I was around someone who knew more Spanish than I did, I just let them carry things. So Lori and Greg both have a lot more Spanish than I do. So anytime I was around them, I just kind of stepped back, let them do the talking and the translating. And this went on for a while. And I also struggled to find the time. I am a full-time mom, and I'm trying to do this YouTube thing, which I love. And so whenever I get free time, it goes into the videos. And there's just not a lot of leftover time for anything else. And so I've found myself struggling to know how to progress in my Spanish right now. However, we just went to San Miguel for a weekend trip, and being there was so good for me because it reminded me of where I was at when I first got to Mexico. Walking around, going to the restaurants, I could literally remember, it was like a split screen in my mind. I could remember what I was capable of when I first got here, nothing. And then what I was capable of now. And I realized, like, oh, I understand a lot more than I give myself credit for if I am not flustered. If I'm not on the spot, if I can just listen, then I understand a lot more than I thought I did. I was able to say a lot more than I was before. And it was so encouraging for me. It was exactly what I needed at exactly the moment that I needed it. It was that little boost of, hey, don't give up on this. You can do it. It is okay if it takes longer than you think it should. Because guys, I'm so impatient with myself. I want it like that. I want to just have it be a constant up trajectory. I want to just nail it every time. I want to be fluent, and I am not. I have to give myself credit for what I have done and not expect perfection. So, moving forward, these are my plans. First of all, be reasonable with my timetable. Celebrate the progress that I've made, and understand that learning a language takes time. It does not happen overnight. Okay, and I need to remind myself of that every day. 2, Jim and I have a new course out. I will put a link in the description box. I am jumping into that course, and I can't wait. I just started it. It is really good. It is just what I need right now, and I can fit it into my schedule when I can squeeze it in between things. So, and no more avoiding speaking. I've got to remember that it is okay to make mistakes, that it is okay to not know what I'm doing, and it is okay to ask for help. So that's where I'm at. Definitely have hit some roadblocks, some snags, some bumps in the road. But I'm not giving up. I am going to get back on this, and thank you guys for coming along the journey with me. And if you ever see me out in public, please speak really slowly and use very simple words. All right, guys, bye. Love you.